What could you do to protect your pets if you're sick or injured? My product, Save My Pet ID tag, helps you ensure that your beloved pets are safe and well cared for, even when life isn't what you expect.
You had a lot of adventures, Arden, and I heard about another one where you helped a cat by the name of Earl Grey. Tell us about what happened.
I feel bad for this cat because the cat's name is Earl Grey, which is symbolizing like a nice hot brewed British tea, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, Earl Grey is a great tabby who lives at the sanctuary. Let's be smart. And somehow there was an accident. I was actually walking in from the refugee camp visit, and the managers are like, "Oh," and I'm like, whoa, 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 what's up? What's up? He accidentally got scalded by hot water.
Wow.
And they were really not knowing what to do. I am a master certified pet first aid instructor. I am the founder of Pet First Aid for You. I get to work with a lot of veterinarians in the ER field, and they keep keeping me knowledgeable of what's going on. Pet First Aid is that life-saving bridge between the in this case, scalding by Earl Grey, and be able to safely transport to an ER veterinarian.
How did it happen, Arden? How did the scalding water end up on the cat?
Well, apparently there's another cat at the sanctuary on the second floor that has respiratory issues, and they create like a sauna effect where the kitty goes into a carrier and they put this hot water, this big bowl of hot water in front of it, and they put a towel over it, and it creates a sauna effect to help the respiratory issues.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure, but it's my understanding the person carrying the water tripped. And poor Earl Grey happened to be walking. So do's and don'ts, everyone. Never, ever, ever put burn cream on a cat or dog who has second or third degree burns. You will cause more problems. Second, you think you would do well by giving them ice to cool them down, but when a very hot body meets very cold, it causes shock and they can shut down. The body can shut down. So when I assessed little Earl Grey wasn't saying anything. I knew it was third degree. How did I know it was third degree? Because he didn't show any pain. And he had bright red nose, bright red paws that were scalded. And what that tells me is the burn was so bad, it went through the layers of skin and it wiped out all the pain receptors. So the brain and the body aren't talking. So that's why he acted calm. I was monitoring him in the back seat. He was in a carrier. I put a wet, cool towel on him just to keep his body core temperature. And I'm monitoring him in the back seat as we're driving to the ER. And I'm thinking any minute I'm going to have to do CPR. But fortunately, he did not slip into unconsciousness. I mean, the poor manager's like, oh, he must be okay. He's not talking. I'm like, no, that's actually worse.
Arden, what are the odds that you would be there to help in that kind of a situation? I mean, that was one lucky cat.
Yeah, I love Earl Grey. And the thing is, second degree pets are very animated. So we called ahead. They knew to expect us. And we went to the ER, and I am happy to tell you they applauded us for everything we did because we didn't make the situation worse. And he had to be hospitalized, Earl, for 3 days, and he is now recovering. He's doing very, very well. So, if I could wave a wand, everybody who has a pet needs to take a pet first aid class.
Training, it's so important because the things that jump into your mind that you think would be a savior, like ice, like you mentioned, or you're thinking, well, it should be okay. It's not complaining. Your training really kicks in, and you really pretty much save that cat's life.
Well, I like to say I'm poor and famous, but I'm enriched. I'm not rich, and teaching pet first aid and helping others help pets, that's kind of what I'm all about. And I was so glad to help them.
Okay, pet first aid. How can I learn about that? What should they do?
Well, they can go to my site. It's Pet First Aid for You, the letter 4, the letter U. We teach in person. We teach interactive through Zoom. And I'm a master instructor. I'm happy to tell you that thanks to Zoom, I have taught people remotely who live in Australia, New Zealand, Egypt, South Africa, all parts of Europe, the Caribbean. And I teach a lot of people in the United States and Canada, pet professionals, pet people, parents. But this trip was the first time I actually can now say I'm international because I taught in England and I taught in Greece.
Well, and there's a lot of pet groups that have you come in and they sponsor you to do it for a group of people, right?
Right. There's a National Association of Professional Pet Sitters, and I've given talks for them. I train a lot of the people that own professional pet sitting businesses. I do work with a lot of people that own boarding facilities. I actually work with veterinarians and their vet teams because in a veterinary hospital, you have everything within hand's reach. But if you're at home and you're a veterinarian and your dog starts choking on a chunk of cheese, do you know what to do?
People should take an interest in, and just your story about Earl Grey, that, proves the point that the more you know, the more you can help a pet and get the training that's needed. Now, while you were in Greece, Arden, you also gave some behavior talks and pet first aid classes there, right?
Oh, yes. And I wasn't sitting back, kicking back. I was always heading to a class. And I got to tell you, it's crazy drivers in Greece, as in everywhere. They drive these little cars and they just know how to magically just barely miss hitting each other as they get to wherever they get to. And so we got to do some cat and dog behavior classes, and we raised money for Let's Be Smart. And I had my books. I had 4 books I wrote during COVID with my publisher. One is called A Kid's Guide to Dogs, A Kid's Guide to Cats, the Cat Behavior Answer Book, and the Dog Behavior Answer Book. And I was able to bring a number of those books with me that we were able to sell to people with the proceeds going to the nonprofit. And wow. I was laughing because I was in this one class and it was mostly women, and probably about 24 people. And I like people coming up and participating in pet first aid and pet behavior. And I would ask them to join me in doing a demo. And every time, Barbara, I asked the woman, each time, different women, what's your name? Sophia. Okay, what's your name? Sophia. Are you kidding me? What's your name? Sophia. I said, are you guys playing me a Greek trick? And they said,
you have to start to number those Sophias, 1, 2, 3.
This man came up and he's this tall Greek. And I said, please tell me your name is not Mr. Sophia. And people laughed. I mean, they had fun learning. And that's what I try to do. No one wants to be lectured. Right. And you need to make learning fun and people feel safe when they're in a class and practical. And then everybody learns. And I've had a lot of testimonials through the years of people that have learned what I taught them and they've actually saved their pet's life. So It's kind of fun. But the Greeks have a great sense of humor. And I even taught them, and you all know this, that listen to my show and watch me on YouTube, I like to say pause up. Pause up. So I know Greeks go, whoopah. But just for fun, I want to share this short clip of me with the group of people in a behavior class in Athens after we just finished having the class. So take a look and listen.
Hey everybody, it's Ardmore. I'm here in Athens, Greece, as part of a sponsored tour for Let's Be Smart.org. And I just met these cool people. They have cats, they have dogs, and they had questions about behavior. So hopefully, did I do okay? Did I help you? Yeah. All right, so the cats and dogs belonging to these people are now like, thank you, Arden. They now understand you. So they've got my books and check them out. And as I always say, I love you guys, everybody. How to say goodbye in Greek? Pause.
So, Barbara, I have now trained Greeks to say pause up. What do you think?
I think you did a great job. And I know they learned so much in your classes, Arden. And, and they brought you in for a purpose, but you also had some free time while you were there, didn't you? Did you do some?
I had
what did you do? Did you spend it in Athens or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what a huge city. I have learned from my Greek friends that 80% of Greeks live in or just near Athens. I didn't know that. And as a country, it's not that big. It's like 8 to 10 million people. But it's surrounded by mountains in the Aegean Sea. It's, that thousands of little islands. It's amazing. The weather is perfect. But for some reason, most people are in or near the capital. And they had about 4 years ago, they opened up the Acropolis Museum. And it's right at the foothills where you could look up and see the Acropolis. The Acropolis is the big area that is where all the Parthenon and all these famous architecture buildings built zillions of years ago are housed. It's called the Acropolis. You climb all the way to the top and you get to go to the Parthenon, which was dedicated to the goddess Athena. But I started my day at the museum, and this is so cool. I had my Greek coffee, of course.
Right.
Right. And
Exactly.
I'm seated outside it's in the museum, but they had an outdoor eating area, and I'm having my feta cheese Greek omelet or whatever. I look up and there is the Acropolis just waiting for me to come see it.
Wow.
It's kind of magical to be able to do that. I mean, and everywhere I went, I ran into a street cat from Greece, and they tended to be tricolored, which was interesting. Very, very, very friendly. And there were a lot of dogs that are on leashes, and the people are at cafes, so the dogs are very kind and well-mannered. They're hanging out. They're not chasing the cats. And I finally got the afternoon, I got to go be part of a group, like about 15 of us, to tour the Acropolis. And I mean, we're talking old, like 3000 BC. I mean, I can't even fathom that.
It's jaw-dropping.
It is. And so the lady that led the tour, the Greek tour lady, she was full of fun. And her mission was to know every one of our first names. And none of them were like
easy ones. Were they Sophia?
No, or Sophia.
Yeah.
Good one. No, they were all these Arden, Stefan, all these weird names because we were all from different places in the country, the United States and the world. But she had a really good way of making us all feel welcome. And she said something I will never forget. She said, Greek myths are true stories full of lies.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life.